Hello everyone, my name is Brock and we are well into the month of December. I have been tagged in so many videos that I'm starting to get tagged in things twice, and I feel so guilty that I haven't done these tag videos. And I want everyone to know, doing those tags is something I will do eventually. But because it's December, this one needs to be done first. Let's read the Grinch book tag. The tag, of course, was created by the wonderful Samantha at Thoughts on Tomes, and I was tagged by Samantha over at Novels and Nonsense, and Erica at Snogging on Sunday Books. I hate you, Erica. Number 1. Half the lights in the Christmas tree are burnt out. Name a book / character / series that started out good but then went downhill. The Wheel of Time starts out really good, up until it doesn't. And then there's the Sword of Truth, which is great, up until it isn't. And then there's the Ender Quartet, which was, the first 2 books were great, Ender's Game and Speaker for the Dead, but Xenocide was horrible. I hated this book, but I'm not even done yet. There's also the Honor Harrington series, which is still a good series, but the books after book 8, or Echoes of Honor, that book didn't do anything with the main characters that I appreciated. It was trying to be too political when the series itself is known for being more about the space battles and the spaceships. It's starting to go downhill for me. I'm still going to finish this series, but I'm losing hope. Number 2, Annoying Aunt Sally Who Won't Leave You Alone. Name a book you didn't enjoy, but everyone else seems to love it, so it never goes away. I thought I was going to have a lot more hate for this one, but it would be Endymion by Dan Simmons and Rise of Endymion by Dan Simmons. Compared to the first 2 books in this series, Hyperion and the Fall of Hyperion, I enjoyed those books more, and a lot of people have been reading them lately on book 2. But for the most part, these ones just did not strike me as groundbreaking or as epic or as powerful. 3. Your pets keep knocking over your Christmas decorations. Name a character that keeps messing things up for everybody else. Don't pick a villain. Jensen from The Sword of Truth. She appears in the 7th book in the series, which is The Pillars of Creation. This book here, book 6, was perfection. This thing set up so much stuff that could have been resolved in the next book or 2. I think this book is transcendent, but the book immediately following, The Pillars of Creation, was one of the worst pieces of trash I've ever read. The author took away the main character and introduced a new character, Jensen, and at this point we'd gone through 6 books where the main character had been Richard Roth. The whole book focuses on her. By this book, there's a villain who somehow seems to avoid death at the end of every single book, and this has been going on for about 3 or 4 books now. So at the end of book 7, The Pillars of Creation, the same thing happens. This is minor spoilers, but whatever. The hero, Richard, has a chance to kill Jagang, the bad guy, the Emperor Jagang, the dude who's been causing all the trouble, the dude we want to die. Jensen stops Richard from killing him. She thinks that Emperor Jagang is like a good guy. She hurls herself in front of his body. Richard does a magic thing, and the magic is dispelled because Jensen is not capable of having magic acted upon her, and because she does this thing, Emperor Jagang doesn't die again, and the whole thing just keeps going on. He doesn't die in book 8, he doesn't die in book 9, he doesn't die in book 10. It becomes so frustrating. She wasn't really a part of the series after that, except for 1 or 2 places where she sort of comes back into the frame, but not really. 4. You hear your parents putting out the presents, and you learn that Santa isn't real. Name a book that was spoiled for you. Regarding spoilers, I don't think I've been horribly spoiled when it comes to a book that I've been reading. I've been pretty good at avoiding them, or I just haven't known or associated with people who have been reading the same thing, and so I have not had the misfortune of being spoiled. Yay. Okay, I had a problem because I've tried to record this 3 times, and each time I've completely forgot to hit record. I'm getting a little Grinchy, so I'm going to just breeze through some of these questions. 5. It's freezing outside. Name a character you just couldn't connect with. If there's a character I had a hard time connecting with, it would be Endymion from Endymion and The Rise of Endymion. Endymion to me was just a guy. He went through an amazing journey, but I was not that attached to him. Number 6. Mariah Carey's All I Want for Christmas Is You is playing constantly, and it's giving you anti-romantic feelings. Name a couple that you just couldn't stand. The relationship between Endymion and, what's-her-face, Aenea. The relationship between Endymion and Aenea, I wasn't that invested in. Not that I didn't like it, I just didn't connect with it. 7. That scratchy homemade wool sweater you got for Christmas years ago but just can't get rid of. Show some books that have been sitting on your shelf for a while but that you aren't motivated to read. Game of Thrones by George R.R. Martin. I don't know if I'm going to read this one. I haven't watched the TV series and I feel like there's other more complete series that I want to give my emotional commitment to. There's also Grass by Sherry S. Tepper. Looks really good. I've tried reading it before, can't read it. There's lots of good science fiction reviews about it and people on their blogs who've been raving about it. So one day I will read this book and like it. Gene Wolfe. He's a guy I can't get into. Why? I don't know. The guy is like way smarter than me. Gene Wolfe is an author's author. Authors love Gene Wolfe and his mastery of storytelling. Readers, however, I think have a harder time with Gene Wolfe. So far, I have tried on numerous occasions to read at least one of his books and have only gotten about 20 pages in each time. And lastly, if there's one book that I'm probably never going to read, even though I want to read it someday and, well, I just can't get rid of it, would be the sequel to Xenocide, which is Children of the Mind by Orson Scott Card. I did not like this book. I don't feel that motivated to read this one. I would only read this at this point to complete the quartet. Okay, so I've hit the end of the section that took me 3 times to record when I found out the camera wasn't recording. 8. Grandma got run over by a reindeer. Name a character death that you are still mad about. There will be spoilers for this section. It's not likely to be a spoiler because everybody seems to have read the books already, but spoilers. I was totally devastated when, in Harry Potter and the Deathly Hallows, Dobby the House Elf died. I love Dobby. I had a huge connection with Dobby. When he died, I was so sad and mad. I did not want it to happen. I would rather have every single character in the Harry Potter series die and have Voldemort win and have Dobby be the only survivor. I would rather have that than have Dobby die. Even stranger about this whole connection with Dobby is that I've only read the 7th book. Harry Potter and the Deathly Hallows. I haven't read any of the other books. My whole connection with Dobby comes solely from the movies and what I read in Harry Potter and the Deathly Hallows. 9. The malls are crowded with holiday shoppers. Name a series that has too many books in it or went on too long. The Wheel of Time. They just kept going and going and going. But wait, that's not the only series that went on for far too long. No, there were certainly many more, like The Sword of Truth. It just kept going and going, beyond the point that it needed to. What was that, 11 or 12 books? Way too long. Number 10, The Grinch. Name a main character you hate. Again, no villains. I know I'm picking on the same books over and over again, but that just shows you what, inner self-loathing and hate does. It makes you dwell repeatedly on the same things, rather than moving your train of thought onto something else. But if there's a character I don't like, and this is weird because it's also a character I do like, it's Richard Rahl from the Sword of Truth series. He's amazing in the first bunch of books. This book has the character Richard do everything through example. But then from book 7 onwards, he spends the entire time simply preaching, from getting on a soapbox every single paragraph and talking about freedom and saying how wonderful it is. And I love freedom. Freedom's great. Hooray for freedom. But Richard beats it to death and then some. You know that long speech in Atlas Shrugged, that 90-page monstrosity that communicates what objectivism is about, even though the rest of the book already spends all of its time showing you and telling you and demonstrating what objectivism is about? The Sword of Truth does the same thing, and Richard Rahl becomes a mouthpiece for objectivism. And while this book becomes a really clear and wonderful example of what objectivism can be, the rest of the books throw it away by doing the same old Ayn Rand preachiness that Ayn Rand's books are known for. Anyway, Richard Rahl, wonderful character, loved him because he was like a pinnacle. He was a pinnacle of dignity and perfection and handsomeness, but then ruined because he just couldn't keep his mouth shut. The weird thing about all this is that these books are books that I've enjoyed, but they're also books that I've really had problems with, especially the series. It's strange how The first bits that got me emotionally involved and attached were wonderful, but then the later bits that did not meet my emotional attachment and expectations caused me to hate them. I think that's the common trend I'm seeing through all of these books and all of these questions. Anyways, I'm going to tag anyone who has not done this tag yet. There's only a few days left till Christmas, and you better hurry. So yeah, go do the tag, people. Thank you very much for tagging me, everyone, and I hope you have a wonderful Christmas, happy holidays, and we will see you in the new year. And Erica from Snogging on Sunday Books. I got that right. Oh my gosh, I thought I got it wrong. Books that books.